I'd like to welcome everyone to the November Elizabethton Board of Education meeting. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. I will ask Mr. Van Huss if he would at this time to lead us in a moment of silence and a pledge to the flag. Mr. Van Huss.
Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Play ball. It's now time to approve consent agenda and regular agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second?
Second.
Second. Any items we need to discuss now or to move to the regular agenda? Okay, if not, time to approve consent agenda and regular agenda. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Time for citizens to speak. We didn't have anyone ask to speak before the board, so we'll go on to one of our favorite times of our board meeting, and that's special recognitions. Obviously, we have a large crowd here. Just to kind of let you know, normally once we do all the recognitions, we will give those that need to leave an opportunity to do that. Anyone that wants to stay, we would welcome you to do that, but we will give you an opportunity to do if you'll hang with us till we get through with the recognitions. Mr. Van Huss, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Pless. At this time, Mr. Wright, if you'll come up and share with us about the West Side Running Club.
Well, one of my favorite things to do at Westside is our Westside Wildcat Runners, and they have a full season of running. And we had an extremely fast boys and girls team this year. Most of our races, they would come either first or second place. And so, and then out of that group, we had three pretty much on a regular basis fastest runners in the Tri-Cities. And so, but on October, I believe it was 26th, that in Knoxville at Victor Ashe Park, they had the Tennessee State Elementary School Cross Country Championships. And to be able to be a part of this, you had to qualify. And so there's qualifying runs in Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, and in the Tri-Cities. Well, the three that we're going to recognize today were the fastest runners in the Tri-Cities. So today from Westside, we've got the three fastest kids in the Tri-Cities. And so no girls beat these two right here, and no boy in the Tri-Cities beat Jordan here. So, and that was a 9/10 of a mile run. Jordan ran it in 5 minutes and 34 seconds. Reese ran it in 5 minutes and 45 seconds, and Laurel was right behind her at 5:48. But then they went to the state meet there in Knoxville, and that is a mile. And there was in the boys' race 337 runners, and Jordan came in 22nd out of those 337 and qualified for All-State, and he did it in a time of 5 minutes and 46 seconds. So, Jordan, why don't you come up here? Here's a certificate they sent me for All-State team. So, congratulations. And so, just stand right over here, and we'll get a picture of you guys. And the girls, Reese did not get beat all year by anybody, and so, which is incredible. And in the state meet, and again, we've got runners, there were 310 girls from Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Tri-Cities, and Reese came in 11th place out of 310 runners, and in a time of 6 minutes and 3 seconds. And so, Reese, why don't you come on up? Congratulations. Also earning All-State. And then Laurel McDaniel here, who's usually right right behind Reese, sometimes in front, and Reese would have to come back and beat him. So these guys really pushed each other on. So, and Laurel out of 310 girls came in 18th place, and also earning All-State in a time of 6 minutes and 12 seconds. So come on up here, Laurel. And so, Laurel pretty much made me buy this $40 shirt because her name's on the back of it. So, but anyway, this special group of kids, this is the future of Elizabethton High School cross country and track. These guys are going to be great. So, y'all want to come up here for a picture? Let's come on up here. Hold your certificates up here.
Get in here, Mr. Wright.
Oh.
You need in there with him.
Good job, girls, guys. Good job. John, get one more right here. One more. Yeah.
That's what happens when you're popular.
Yeah.
They're coming after Bella's time. Another thing too, man, Bella, I tell you, every race she'll stay and she'll watch these kids, encouraging them. So that's great.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Good deal.
Coach Campbell, if you'll come up, you and Coach Pressel. Don't be modest.
I think it's awesome that we got to do this while these kids are being recognized as well today. One thing about our sport is, our sport is all the other sports punishment. It takes a special type of kid that wants to run every single day. Hard workers, great kids, and all of our kids do other things as well. They're in all sorts of other sports, band, after school. So they are staying busy while they're also doing that running every single day. So it's definitely an honor to get to coach and work with these kids every day. If you boys and girls, y'all want to come up here and stand up front. And I'll start with the boys. The boys, we've got a couple of seniors here this evening. We had two senior boys that ended up qualifying going to state. So the way it works is the top 4 teams in the region go to state. We were number 5. So we ended up having 2 boys individually qualify. After that, it goes 5 individuals that get to go to state. And 2 seniors was able to make it, and that is not easy at all to be one of those 5 individuals. Jerry Behrman and Cooper Chenault, both of them were able to go to state and had a good race. Cooper Jack is another senior that we had that worked hard all season. He ended up getting sick halfway through, so that was tough on him, but ended up having a good season. We've got Jabron El Halou here. He's a junior new runner, but we're excited to have him next year. His improvements over the season have been spectacular. We'll move on to the girls. So our girls got second in the region, just 5 points from first place. It was a tough race. So we knew it was going to be a good race out there at state. And I'll go ahead and name our senior girls, Grace Arts and Amberlyn Grindstaff, who wasn't able to be here tonight because, like I said, our runners are involved in everything. We've got Helen Hackett and Jane Hackett. These 2 sisters push each other. The competitiveness just between the 2 of them and on our team is it's awesome to watch every day. Helen, a junior, 1 spot away from being all-state this year, so we're definitely got that goal in mind next season. And then we've got Madeline Isaacs, a sophomore, who, again, just came here from swim practice, so she's always working on something. And then Vela Nave's a freshman that has broken the school record 3 times this year. She got 4th place out of 250 runners out there at state, 4th place in the state individually. Our girls overall got 5th place in the state out of 40 teams. So they definitely showed out, and Vela again with an 18:55 breaking the school record for a 3rd time this season, and also doing soccer at the same time. So she was going from soccer practice over to train with us. So good job, guys.
Yeah, slide in here, guys. Come on, Coach Presnell.
Yeah, he knows where to go stand. All right.
Next, we'd like to recognize the Betsy Band. Mr. Valentine, if you'll come up and share with us. I think y'all been into some things this fall.
Yeah, so thank you guys for having us. Thank you for all your constant support. The Betsy Band had another really awesome year. This is a special year for lots of reasons, but one, of course, was that this was my first class of seniors that actually had me all 4 years. So we were finally starting to get accustomed to my ways and didn't really know any other ways, which was, and they were really great over their years. Obviously, this was not the first time that we won, but this was just a really great year for the seniors and for the band. And so we started off the competitive year missing a competition because we were supposed to go to Western Asheville the weekend of the hurricane, which obviously did not happen. But then we went to Bristol the week after, and we won that competition. That was a really fun one. And then we got to perform at BOA, the Bands of America Regional at Johnson City, about 2 weeks after that. And it was really cool because this event is something the Betsy Band has gone to for a long time. There's lots of BOA trophies that are in the Commons of the times that they went and made finals. And but for the first time since 1999, the band actually won their class this year, which was pretty big. This was a regional event. There were 26 bands after some other people dropped out. 26 bands from like 8 different states, some of them that went on to compete in other regional and national events. And in the preliminary competition, the Betsy Band won first place in 2A, which was really awesome. They haven't won 2A since 1997. They won 1A in 1999. We kind of teeter the line between Class 1 and Class 2. And so we won Class 2 this year, which was really cool. Ended up finishing 5th in the preliminary competition, and then we got to perform again in the finals competition against some of the biggest and best bands in the Southeast. And they finished 6th in the finals competition, which we were extremely excited about. Then we got to host a band competition, which once again was it was fun. It was crazy because of the rain, but we got to host a band competition, which is always a good time to let the kids get to serve other bands in the community. And then the first week in November, we went down to the state championships, and for the 3rd year in a row, they won. They won all the captions in preliminaries and in finals, won by over 2 points again for the 2nd year in a row, which was pretty awesome. And it was a really great year. They did get 2 medals this year. A lot of them are only wearing the 1 medal, but Anderson in the middle there's wearing his BOA medal that you get for winning your class at a regional championship. So I just wanted to read off some stats about this senior class, and these are not all seniors. These are seniors and leadership students that have chosen to be with us tonight. But just to read off some stats of the seniors of their 4 years, they won 6 overall band competitions, 3 in 2021, 2 in 2022, and 1 in 2024. They were the reserve grand champions at the Western Carolina band competition their freshman year. They hold the first and the second highest scores, BOA scores, in school history. They were a part of those bands. They've obviously won a class championship at BOA, and the color guard members here have won their caption state championship for all 4 years of their high school career. And the seniors have won 3 state championships in a row. So this senior class has been an instrumental part of us taking things to the next level as the Betsy Band. So I just want to thank the students, thank their parents that came. Thank you guys, the school board, for your constant support of the Betsy Band, and recognize these students and give them a hand.
Yeah, if we can do 2 rows, maybe some slide up on the platform there and squeeze together. Thank you. At this time, we have Ms. Widener with us from TCAT that would like to make a presentation to Elizabethton High School.
Good evening. I get the privilege of bragging on your teachers, your students, and your administrators. We just want to, this is the second year in a row that we have awarded tiered levels for our dual enrollment program in partnership with Elizabethton City Schools. And you all this year have earned the bronze level recognition. And total, I just want to share a few stats. You had 188 students take part just this term, this fall term, in the dual enrollment programs that we offer here. In conjunction with your instructors, we offer advanced manufacturing. We had 46 students enrolled in that program. We had 21 in your automotive technology. We had 22 in your computer information technology, and 28 in your building construction technology, 16 in millwright skills, and about 50 in criminal justice. We also had 2 students that came over to Air Campus and actually was a part of Air on-campus programs. So the cool thing is we like to give back to your all's programs so that you can invest that money in the actual program. And this year we were able to give back $11,408 to all of these programs combined. So pretty awesome stats. Again, congratulations. We appreciate your all's partnerships, and we couldn't do it without Mr. Colbert, your CTE director, Principal Odom. You all have been instrumental in making those pathways happen for the students, and of course the instructors. And I think Mr. Copeland is here. Is that? Yes. So we just want to say thank you and present you with this banner.
Mr. Colbert, if you'll come up, and any of your CTE teachers that are here come up as well.
It's good to have you, Mr. Colbert. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Lastly, if at this time, if the board members, if you don't care to come and stand right here in the front, we're going to do a presentation for Mr. Alexander. We were going to recognize Mayor Kurt Alexander at this meeting. Unfortunately, he was unable to attend, so we'll push that until December. So. Hello, hello. Okay. So for those of you that don't know Mr. Alexander, I don't know where you've been, but he has had so much influence on all those individuals on this stage, and I'm sure if we went around in this room, many of you could tell stories about the impact that he's had on our community. I had Mr. Alexander in class. We won't say how long ago that was, and some other people behind me that are older than me had him in class too. But also, he hired me as a teacher at Elizabethton, basically hired me in every job I ever had until I became director. And then he just voted on a new contract here a while back, so he's been instrumental in that. You want to take that back? But we just want to say thank you again to Mr. Alexander for his years of service to the community in all of the different roles that he's served, teacher, coach, principal, director of schools, and now he stepped up and helped fill an unfilled or an uncompleted role from a board member. So again, we just thank you so much for that, and I'm just going to read the plaque that we have there we're going to present. In recognition of your outstanding service and dedication to the citizens and students of Elizabethton during your tenure as a school board member, your commitment to education, excellence in education, and your unwavering support of our schools has enriched the lives of our students and strengthened our community. Your dedication and leadership will be remembered and appreciated for years to come. With deepest gratitude, Elizabethton City Schools Board of Education. So, on behalf of the board, thank you very much. So obviously, this is Mr. Alexander's last meeting. His seat will be filled by Dr. Bob Lewis, who is in the back there. We're looking forward to working with Dr. Lewis starting next month. So, thank you.
All right. And I will give you the kindest words you'll hear tonight. If you need to go, you're welcome to do that. If you'd like to stay, we'll recess for about 2 or 3 minutes while we allow you to head out. Thank you for being here. Congratulations to all.
I'm sorry. Yes, it
Just about cleared it out, didn't it?
Mr. Alexander, I expect that to be hung up in the big room there somewhere next time I come by.
He got a trophy. He got a trophy room.
No,
No, sir. Full of trophies.
no. Now we get to say what we really think about Mr. Alexander.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not anything you hadn't said before.
I know. This time we'll say it to your face, though. Put my microphone down. He'll make me cry if I start talking about it.
I'm telling you.
Beat the boys off. Beat the boys off. Anybody talk to Coach Wilson?
Well, all right, we'll come back to order, and it's now time for updates. So at this time, again, I'll turn it over to Mr. Van Huss for the director's update.
Thank you. Just another quick update. We've been doing a lot of these recently. Capital projects update. Work continues to progress at the Dave Ryder Center for Athletic Performance on the campus of Elizabethton High School. Things slowed down a little bit there as we worked out some issues with the fire line there. We should be pouring footers within the next week. The building will arrive within the next couple of weeks after that, and so you'll start seeing a lot more progress, there in the coming weeks. Harold McCormick is basically completed at this point, still working on a few punch list items. We're going to be looking at a date for a ribbon cutting, and what we would like to do is coincide that ribbon cutting with a ribbon cutting for the CDEC building, the Union Pharmacy building. So if we invited people from the community, especially city council and the board, we could do both of those on the same day. We could start at Harold McCormick, cut a ribbon, and then we'll go to CDEC and cut a ribbon. So there'll be some more. I'd like to try to do that in December. And then we're also looking at, Mr. Alexander started this several years ago, when he was director of schools, we would like to do a tour of schools with city council and school board as well. So we're looking at a date in January or February to do that. We'd like for the progress to be a little further along at the high school before we do that as well. Again, work at the CDEC, we're almost finished there. We should be trying to get an inspection from the city probably the week after Christmas, or after Thanksgiving. And so the company that we purchased office furniture from, they'll be coming to put all that together and install that on December 9th. But we'll be able to use the building prior to December the 9th. So it looks great. I can't wait for everyone to have the opportunity to check out that space as well. Again, just congratulations again to our students and staff and our community individuals that we recognized at the meeting earlier today or tonight. That is the best part about what we do. I love being able to highlight and just the fact that some of the times that these students have in cross country is pretty amazing. And of course, the band just continues to shine as well. So also, it's hard to believe we're almost about to wrap up the first semester. And again, just incredible work that's gone on throughout the system by our students, staff, and teachers. It's obviously been challenging in a lot of ways, but inspirational at the same time, and we have so much to be proud of and thankful for. So certainly we want to finish strong. We have roughly about 4 weeks left total for this semester. So we're looking forward to finishing strong. Also wanted to remind everyone about the swearing-in ceremony for new board members. That is Tuesday, November the 26th. That's next Tuesday at noon, and that's in the City Council chamber. So hope that certainly those of you that were reelected, we need you there. There's some paperwork that you need to sign and do some things, and then obviously the entire board is welcome to attend as well. And that's my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Van Huss. Board member reports. I've got something I'll share real quick. We had the opportunity, along with Dr. Lewis, to go to the state board convention a couple of weeks ago. And like most things, larger events, you're very fortunate to have some really, really good stuff, and then you have to kind of wade through some of the other just to survive. But I will tell you, Dr. Lewis had heard the speaker that had a big impact on me was a doctor who was born and raised in Washington County, and just the impact of drugs on his life while he was in med school, finishing up med school, how it got a hold of his life, just the painkiller episode. So he shared a long time with us and just never would think it has that kind of effect on that type person, but how it just about destroyed his life and how he kind of got his act together and how that's propelled his medical career. But he also made us aware of what we're looking for in students, to look for little triggers or little signs that these are the ones that maybe are more susceptible to these things. So it was just really good information, I think, for us to have. I think it'd be great if there's any way we could ever have him just for our whole staff. I know he's really busy doing those kind of things, but just a lot of other good things too, just laws and how they change and how they affect us and control what we do and decisions that we make. So it's a never a dull moment when it comes to school law and policy and procedure. So a very good conference. Thankful for the opportunity to go there, and again, hopefully we'll always be able to do those kind of things to go ahead and help us stay up to date on what's happening. Anything else?
I think what I took away from that was we had a speaker that had a teacher that really made an impact on his life, and he found her phone number in a book where she had written it down, and he was reading to his daughter, and he said, "You think I should call it?" So he called it, and that teacher answered the phone, and she knew him immediately when he said hello to her and asked how she had said some things that made him achieve a lot in his life. So I know teachers realize what they do in the classroom, but they make lasting impressions on students, and it's just, I don't think that they're nearly paid enough, but we got a limit. but that was really something that I took away from that seminar, along with how to be a better vice chair and a legislative member, so I'm gonna try to be better.
You're pretty good. So, but anyway, thank you for allowing us to go there. All right. Mr. Simmerly, anything to share? Nothing tonight. Well, thank you again. You all have done a lot. It's been a great year. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hudson.
Thank
what-
you.
Yeah.
I'd like to start off by apologizing for being a little sweaty. I came straight from basketball practice to here. But first thing, I like to talk about the naked turkey contest that we're doing. SGA is hosting it. Basically, every first period classroom has a naked turkey. And then whenever the students can bring in canned goods and donate to them, and for every canned good they bring in, then they get a feather. And then the first period with the most feathers gets a grand prize at the end. And then all of the food that's donated will go to hurricane relief at the end. So that's something that we've been doing every year, but this year we're specifically donating everything to relief for the hurricane. And secondly, I'd like to talk about the in-school game. Recently on Tuesday, we hosted an in-school game versus volunteer. And I thought it went very well. Our team ended up winning the game, which is very nice. And also, just hearing from all my classmates, it was awesome to have them all in there and for cheering the team on. I think it was great for school spirit as well. Lastly, this is something that I've had a couple of my classmates complain about and ask me to bring up here. So as it stands right now, for students' GPA, it is tracked for the first 7 semesters of their high school, so that until the first semester of their senior year, and then the second semester of senior year, it's not really tracked at all. And some of them worry about that because they have AP classes and honors classes that they can't control that are put into the second semester of their senior year, and they don't get the boosted credit and the boosted weighted GPA that comes with those classes because it's in the second semester. And so they heard about that in, I think it was last year that they extended it into the first 9 weeks of the second semester. That way that they received credit for the AP and honors classes and got their GPA actually boosted. And that's something that they'd like to see in the future as well, and it's something that they were not complaining about, but just wanting to see. So that's all I have today.
If I could, I'd like to speak to that for just a second, because
Okay.
we've had tons of conversations about that. And one thing we found, that if you go around other schools in the Tri-Cities area, so basically what Hudson's talking about is, if you're trying to determine class rank and things like that for recognition purposes, if you take a course that has a greater weight to it, for instance, you take an AP course that you could possibly get 5 quality points instead of 4 on the normal 4.0 scale. If you happen to have that in the second semester, you may not get credit for that course just because that's the way it fell in your schedule. So for the last 2 years, the high school's taking tons of time and painstakingly gone through, and like Hudson mentioned, we've extended that basically into that second semester. So at the end of that 9 weeks, the third 9 weeks, so the first 9 weeks of the second semester, whatever those students' grades are in those courses, we are basically calculating that to determine the honors. Now, they are also trying to, and it's all about a timing thing. You can't wait until the very end because there's too much to get together on all those different categories to put in a graduation. So some people get the benefit of that, some people don't, but we're at least trying to give students, like Hudson mentioned, that of no fault of their own, those weighted courses happen to be in the second semester. So just to let you know, we're doing a lot more than most other schools around us are doing, trying to be fair to students. It's still not perfect, but just, again, for the timing, it makes it very difficult to do that beyond that. So I think that the intention is to continue to do that every year, so students will get some benefit from that. But again, it's not perfect. You could have, a student could get credit for that because they had, let's say they have an A in one of those courses at the end of the third 9 weeks. Things don't go well and they end up with the B. Well, they've already received that recognition. It's one of those things that, for the most part, that's not going to happen. That's very rare. But again, that's the best way we could find to do it, to get that information in a way like, we had the honors banquet. It used to be top 10%. Now it's an honors banquet. And that's what they use to determine who will be involved in that honors banquet. So, and we can have other conversations about that as well with Dr. Mitten too, because we'll make sure that all the students understand that that's what we're doing and that's why. So, appreciate you bringing that up though. That's good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Hudson. And is the pole vault finished?
It is, okay, so an update on the pole vault pit. So, we've constructed, we've not had a pole vault at the high school. I don't remember. Do you remember? So it's been a while. So we went in one of the areas on the high school practice field in the track, the D zone closest to the band practice field. And we've basically cut out and poured concrete for a pole vault pit. The last thing that we've already have the pit, Coach Presno helped us find the actual mat and all those things. The last thing that will happen is they'll come in, Baseline, who did the turf projects for us, they'll come in and put a rubberized strip on that runway. Just because of the weather, they're probably going to hold off on that until the spring, unless they get a warm spot here between now and December. If we had another warm week like we've had some of the recent weeks, they may be able to come in and do that. So that's the last phase of that is getting that. Technically, you could use it now. It's just not rubberized. And Baseline actually offered us, they said they would bring a rubber mat and just lay down on there temporarily if we needed to use it until they can come and actually rubberize it. So very close.
No, good deal. And I appreciate Coach Presnell's hard work
Yes.
there on that. So, all right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the regular agenda. First item on the agenda, approve change by the calendar committee to the 2025-2026 school year calendar. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
And second.
Only one change on this. This calendar's already been approved by the board. We did make one modification through the calendar committee process. We moved the professional development day that you'll notice that's now on February the 26th. That lines up, coincides with President's Day. It was on the 23rd, but after consulting with them, we thought they felt like that it may be better if it's on President's Day if parents are out of school and things like, or out of work, their students would be out on that day as well, and that's one less day that maybe they're trying to find childcare if it stayed on the 23rd. So that's the only change to this calendar.
Okay. Questions? All right. Items to approve change by the calendar committee to the 2025-2026 school year calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Next item, approve first reading of Board Policy 4.210, credit recovery. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Uh,
All right.
This change was necessitated. If you remember a few years ago, we adjusted the minimum grade from a 0 to a 50. Last year, the General Assembly enacted a law that you could no longer have any minimum grade other than a 0. So when we had changed it to 50, we adjusted the credit recovery from a minimum grade of 50 to 55 in order to hold students accountable. If they were going to be eligible for credit recovery, they could literally do nothing in a class and still be eligible for credit recovery. And we didn't think that was sending the right message. So we adjusted that minimum grade to be eligible for credit recovery from 50 to 55. Since we no longer have the overall minimum grade as being a 50, we need to put that back to a 50. So this is actually reverting back to the way the policy had been for several years.
Okay. Questions about that? Seeing none, approve first reading of Board Policy 4.210, credit recovery. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed? And there are none. Next item, approve first and only reading of Board Policy 4.600, grading system. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All right.
I'd like to apologize because you just approved this policy in October. And we found one thing that was incorrect. If a student takes a dual enrollment course, they're given 5 basically quality points to go on their average. So in other words, if a student takes a dual enrollment class, they have a 90, they get these extra 5 points, it would give them a 95. And so the whole point of that is you reward students for taking the more challenging courses. And so we had that inadvertently on that they would only receive 4 percentage points, when in fact in statute it says that should be 5. So this is just a cleanup to get it to the right location to receive 5 points.
Okay.
That's the only change.
Gotcha. Comments or questions? Okay, the items to approve first and only reading of Board Policy 4.600 grading system. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Last item, approve contract between Elizabethton City Schools and France Law Group, APLC, to represent the district in the insulin pricing litigation. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
And I'll take one of those as a second. All right, Mr. Van Huss.
So just as a reminder, the France Law Group represented the district in association with Jackson, Shields, Yiser, and Holt a few years ago when we entered into the Juul, the vaping litigation. They've moved on from that, and they're also now working on some issues with insulin. Not to belabor the point, you have a handout there that has a PowerPoint that the France Law Group put together. Ms. Owen looked over that as well. And this will give you a little bit more detail about what's going on here. But essentially, what the crux of the lawsuit is that for several years, some of the largest manufacturers of insulin have basically been engaged in what may be determined as price fixing. They've agreed to raise the price very closely between each of those entities when the cost of production and some of those things are much, much lower. So they've really created a huge profit margin. And who's paid for that? Well, obviously the person that's using it, and entities like school systems and other companies that offer health insurance, because as costs for medicines and things increase, what do insurance companies do? They raise the cost. So over time, and this has probably been going on maybe as long as 20 years, there's even the possibility that this may fall under some racketeering as well in the way they've dealt with insurance and benefit companies. So what would essentially, we'd be getting in on the early stages of this. The way they helped us kind of look at this is you roughly figure about 10% on average of the number of employees that you provide health coverage for. Around 10% of those use an insulin or an insulin type product, which would kind of give you an idea about what type of potential, finding that we could get, some fine that they would have to pay back to us. At this point, that's kind of preliminary. There's obviously, if there is, the good thing about this lawsuit is we don't have to pay anything up front or anything like that. If it's successful, they take their fees off the top, just like the Juul litigation. So there's no, financial liability on our part to be a part of this. What I would like to see us do, and why I think it's important, is if we're able to get some funding back because of this lawsuit, what I would like to do is take that and immediately apply that back to insurance premiums and what we pay for employees. So, occasionally we have to raise what we ask individuals to pay if they choose, any kind of a plan, a family plan, or anything that's above just the base individual, which is we pay for 100% of that. So what I'd like to do is maybe use those funds to potentially be able to offset that, which may push it further down the road before we'd have to ask our staff to increase their amount. So my thought is we can put it right back into where it came from and benefit our employees. So I know that's very quick. Again, I would encourage you to look over the PowerPoint here, and if you have questions, we can certainly talk about that. But what your action today would be to allow us to enter in an agreement with the France law firm, again, in conjunction with Mrs. Owen and Jackson, Shields, Yiser, and Holt to start this process. Questions for me on that?
No. All right. The Item is to approve contract between Elizabethton City Schools and France Law Group, APLC, to represent the district in the insulin pricing litigation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Before we announce the next meeting, again, to Mr. A., poster child of Elizabethton City Schools. Well, I do when I 50 years ago, in a classroom with the Fu Manchu mustache, I will never forget you. You helped me along the way so much. We will miss you. Thank you for really helping us so much in the circumstances.
I have a question.
No, you're done.
No questions.
No, you can go ahead. No, go ahead.
I thought I was at home.
No, yeah.
Mrs. Schaff had a question about a 2-hour delay for tomorrow.
Oh, I see. I see how it is.
No, I was going to say, teachers, we hear your prayers. We're all praying the same thing.
Stay tuned.
But I have to say to
Awesome.
Mr. Alexander, he's been my teacher, my principal, but most of all, he's been my friend. And he is just an extension of my mom, because he was just so good to her. And he's been so good to me and Beth, and I'm not going to say he's been like a dad because he's too young, let's say. He's been like my rich uncle.
Rich, I like that.
But I love he and Sonia. They've added so much to my life, and when I ever need to gripe about anything, I can pull up their driveway, and I can get a 3-hour visit, right? And he's always a gentleman. He always offers me sweet tea or something to eat, but he's just one of my most favorite people.
When I think about a Mount Rushmore of Elizabethton education, he's front and center on that.
Amen.
No question.
Yep.
So,
I'll tell you what, I have a white T-shirt where David wrote with the ballpoint pen, "I love Mr. Alexander," and I still have it.
We do thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
been an honor that you would come back to us, so.
Yes.
All right. With that, next regularly scheduled board meeting will be here in the Mac Pierce Boardroom on Thursday, December 19th. Get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a great evening.
Salute.
Yes, salute.
That was green.
Hey, see you.